Hello, my sober army. How are you? This is Craig Beck, aka the Stop Drinking Expert and the author of Alcohol Lied to Me, a book that has helped hundreds of thousands of people to get sober and stay sober. It can change your life, and it's yours free. If you want it, go to the website, stopdrinkingexpert.com. All right. So, been doing this for a long time now, 15, 16 years. Last week was the first time I think I really spoke about religion, faith, spirituality in connection to alcohol, and how alcohol, I believe, blocks that side of your life. And I've never had any evidence to back that statement up. I've never had any proof. I've just felt that for the last 15, 16 years. And it was good to see the comments to last week's episode where people were agreeing, and they were saying things like, yeah, when I'm in my heavy drinking phase, I just don't go to church. I don't think about that. I don't think about God. I don't pray. I don't do any of that stuff. And I saw that comment repeated over and over in different ways. So it was good to kind of see that I'm on the right track there. But I've never really known why until now. And now I think I understand why. And it's got nothing to do with religion. It's got nothing to do with faith, actually. It's to do with science, and it's to do with the brain and how alcohol affects our brains. You see, a lot of people develop drinking habits because they're bored, because they're lonely, or very common, and I'd say 90% of the people I coach on a one-to-one basis are this sort of person. They have a very powerful brain that's a little bit overactive, and it's a blessing and it's a curse. It's a blessing because they can achieve success in life in ways that other people can only dream of. It's a curse because it never stops. It never gives you a break. It's always plotting doom and disaster, and it's plotting everything that could go wrong for you and your children, and it just drives you crazy. And then at some point you discover alcohol, and you drink it and you go, oh, wow, oh, peace. But of course, the price you pay for that peace just gets more and more expensive as time goes on, until you get to the point where the price is significantly bigger than the benefit. And that's when you turn up at my door, so to speak. So what I've discovered recently, due to some new research, is that while none of us like to be bored and lonely and on our own, it's not only something that we shouldn't avoid, it's something we should experience. We have to experience it. Because if you want to become the person that you are destined to be, if you want to release your full potential as a human being, you have to be bored. There is no other way to do it. And I'll explain why. Because if you're not bored, you never really ask the big questions. You never go deeply into your brain, into the uncomfortable places. There are places in your brain that are just not nice to be because they're scary, because there are unanswered questions all over the place. There is past trauma, and you don't like to go there. It's not nice when you go there. And so you avoid it. Well, drinking alcohol kind of locks the door so you can't go there. And initially, that sounds like a benefit. And if you think about it, just straight logic, all right, so there's a nasty place in my brain and alcohol prevents me going there. Brilliant. But not brilliant. Because you will never become who you are destined to be. You will never release your full potential unless you spend time out of your comfort zone in the dark place. When you're bored, only when you're bored, a different part of your brain activates. And it's the part of your brain that asks the big questions. It's asking things like, why are you here? Why were you born? What are you supposed to be achieving? What's the point of you? What's the point of life? What happens when you die? Is there a God? What does God think of me? All these sort of questions you only ask if you give your brain the space to go deep. If you keep yourself distracted with minor surface level frivolity, as most people do, scrolling on the phone, buying stuff from Temu, just buying stuff you don't need all constantly, doom scrolling on TikTok, on X, on Twitter. If you do that, You never let your brain get bored. You never ask the big questions. If you drink alcohol, you are consciously making yourself stupid. You are reducing the processing power of your brain by about 30%. And so you can't go to those deeper places because it's the best that you can do to sustain life and concentrate on the surface level stuff. The inane TV show that you're sitting in front of with your bottle of wine, that's about the maximum level of your processing power at that point. I mean, you can't even get in a car and drive it. You don't have the brain power because you've drank an anesthetic. And what this research is concluding is that because we live in an age where everyone is living what they call a heads down life, as in your head is always down and into your phone, we're not asking the big questions. And people are starting to feel depressed and anxious because they don't have answers to some quite important, profound stuff. And so, for the first time, I kind of get it. You know, if you really want to be who you came here to be, then you got to take the alcohol out of your life. Otherwise, you're going to die with your music still in you, as they say. You're going to get to the end and you'll realize at that point, shit, I messed up. I could have done so much more. In fact, I came here to do so much more. Now, what happens after you die? Who knows? Maybe you come back and you have to do it all over again. Maybe, I don't know. Nobody really knows, do they? But wouldn't it be such a devastating shame to be lying there on your deathbed aware that you just missed, you missed that opportunity because you chose to drink anesthetic every night instead of releasing the full power of your brain to really dig in and understand the big questions of life. So if you are worried that if you quit drinking, you will be bored and lonely, my advice to you is to stop worrying about that and see it as an opportunity, not a problem. Yes, you're going to be bored at times and you're going to be uncomfortable, but that discomfort is not something bad. That discomfort means that you are going to places that will ultimately enrich you and make you a broader, bigger, and more successful individual. You've got to have the boredom, otherwise you can't go deep. What do you think? Does that make sense? Does the science make sense of that? Then give me a comment below. Let me know what you're thinking, and I will see you next week for another episode of the Happy Sober Podcast. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.